Hello students, my name is Bhavna Singh. I am working as an assistant professor in St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management. This is an online tutorial series on e-commerce. So let's begin today's session. Students, today we will discuss about e-commerce security. And these are the topics of Unit 2 that we will cover in this today's session. The first one is what is computer security. Then we will discuss about the e-commerce security, intellectual property, what are the various types of intellectual property, and copyright. Now first we will discuss about what is computer security. It can be defined as controls that are put in place to provide confidentiality, integrity, and availability for all the components of the computer system. That means basically we are protecting our computer system and the information that is stored inside that computer system from the various damages or the unauthorized use or harm, or we are preventing and detecting the unauthorized use of our computer system. And the various components of the computer system are the data, software, hardware, firmware. All these are the components of the computer that we need to prevent and protect from the unauthorized access. Therefore, we also define it as it is the protection of assets from unauthorized access, use, alteration, or destruction. That means we are protecting all our assets like hardware, software, all the information, data from the unauthorized access and destruction. Now we will discuss the components of the computer system. The first one is the hardware. Hardware means all the physical part of the computer, like you can say the keyboard, mouse, or the disk drive. All these components that are tangible and that are physically touched or that can be felt physically, so that those components are known as the hardware. Then the next we have the firmware. Firmware is the permanent software that runs all the processes of the computer, and it is invisible to the user. Like we use the starter functions that make the elements of the hardware work together. So it is basically the permanent software that is running the entire process. Then the next we have the software. Software are the programs that are running inside the computer and they are offering various services to the users. For example, people use the operating system or the word processors or the computer games or the, you can say, the Mozilla Firefox, internet browsers. All these are the softwares that are providing various services to the users. The computer security, it is categorized into three main categories, as you can see in the table also. Like the first one is the confidentiality, then the second is integrity, and the third one is necessity. Now first one, we'll discuss each one of them in detail one by one. The first one, confidentiality, it is also known as secrecy, and it means that we are protecting against unauthorized data, or you can say that we are ensuring the authenticity of the data. And the main objective of this confidentiality is to prevent the confidential data from unauthorized users. So therefore, a computer system whose secure computer system, it should not allow any information or any confidential information to be disclosed to any unauthorized persons or anyone who is not authorized to access it. Then the second is integrity. Integrity means that remains unmodified. So integrity provides the system that it should not corrupt the information or allow any unauthorized users or any unauthorized accidental changes to it. That means we are preventing the unauthorized data modification. And for computer security, it is a must that it should maintain the continuing integrity of the information that is stored inside it. Then the third is the necessity. Necessity means whenever we want it, it should be available. So it refers to preventing data delays or data denials. That means whenever the information is required, it should be available to the users. So the information that is being stored or is transmitted across various computer networks, it should be available whenever a person or whenever a user requires it, or to whatever extent as desired. So you can say that these are the basic demands for maintaining a computer security. Now the next topic is e-commerce security. What is security in terms of e-commerce? When we talk about online business or when we talk about online website, then in what terms it means the security, we will discuss it now. It is an important managerial and technical issue. E-commerce security is concerned with unauthorized access to important data resources. Some e-commerce threats are controllable, some are partially controllable, and some are completely uncontrollable. That means cannot control them. Then it protects hardware, software, procedures, customers, personnel, and e-commerce resources to keep intruders and hackers at bay. That means e-commerce security is the process by which we are protecting our entire e-commerce assets from the unauthorized access, from the any alteration or restriction. Now, what do you mean by e-commerce assets? E-commerce assets are the information, you can say the customer's information that is stored inside the database, or the payment details that they are doing the transactions online, or all the details about the particular business, or all the details about the stocks and price. So all these are the e-commerce assets. So therefore e-commerce security protects all these e-commerce assets from unauthorized access. Or in short, we can also say that the e-commerce security, it provides all the basic principles or all the basic guidelines which guide the safe electronic transactions, or allowing the buying and selling of goods and services through the internet safely, and with the help of some protocols that should be applied, or that should be provide the safety for those involved buying and selling of goods. Then there may be many threats of damage, or many threats of theft of the sensitive information or the confidential information. So in that case, some threats, they are controllable, that we can control with the help of encryption, or we can use the process of digital signatures. But some, they are not completely uncontrollable, and we are not able to control them. Now, these are the three basic aspects of e-commerce security. The first one is secrecy. Secrecy means privacy. That means it is the basic of e-commerce security, and it is the situation in which you are not allowed to share any confidential information with any unauthorized users or any unauthorized persons. For example, when you shop online, your personal details or your account information you enter on the website, so they should not be accessible to anyone except the seller that you have chosen to share it with. So in order to protect all your data, or in order to protect all your confidential information, the e-commerce business should be responsible to provide the encryption or the virus protection and a firewall, so that your bank details or your credit card information, they can remain private. Then the second one is accuracy. Accuracy means whatever details the merchant is providing to you, or whatever details you are providing to the website or to the e-commerce business, it should be correct, or it should be accurate in all the aspects. Then the third one, we have the availability. Availability means that whatever data is present on the website, it must be secured, and it must be available 24 into 7 hours for the customer without any delay, or whenever it is required it should be available. Because if it is not available, then it will become difficult to gain the competitive edge or to survive in this digital world, and it will be difficult for the e-commerce websites also to increase their rankings, to increase their visibility, to increase their sales. So all these problems can occur if the data is not available whenever it is required by the customers. Now the next topic is, what is an intellectual property? It encompasses all the tangible and intangible products of the human mind. According to intellectual property right, creative work is a kind of property. The owner can use, rent, and sell his rights over the property. And this intellectual property, it is used in many sectors of the economy. Priority has been given to the need to change legal and regulatory approaches. That means intellectual property is the property of a human mind, you can say. It belongs to all the tangible and intangible products of the human mind, like any idea, any creative work, all these belongs to the intellectual property of a person. So basically these intellectual rights, they are the rights that are given to a person for their creation of their minds, for their thoughts, for their creative ideas. So for their creation of their minds, they are given certain rights, so that only they have the right to use them, or only they are responsible for them, and nobody else can use these rights without their permission. So the creator got an exclusive right over the use of his or her creation for a certain period of time. And for example, that you are owning a business, so whatever name you have given to your website, or whatever name you have given to your business, or whatever designs you have invented, or whatever automation processes you have invented, all these are your intellectual property, and nobody else can use them without your permission. Now, these are the basic types of intellectual property. The first one is copyright, then second is patent, third is trademark, and fourth one is trade secrets. We will discuss each one of them in detail one by one. First, let's start with the copyright. Copyright, or we can say that these are the author's right. It is the term that is used to describe the rights that the creators have over their literacy work or over their artistic works. In this, the all the works like books or music, paintings, films, computer programs, databases, all these works are covered under the copyright. So all these artistic work or all these literacy work, they are protected by the copyright for a minimum of 50 years after the death of the author. And after that, the person can use them with the permission or with some legal procedures. Then the next we have the patent. Patent is also an exclusive right that is granted for an specific invention only. For example, a patent, it provides the patent owner with the right to decide how or whether the invention it can be used by others. For example, this patent owner, they make some technical information about the invention publicly, and they with their wish they can make it publicly available in the published patent documents. So it is their wish that whether they want to share it or whether they want to don't share it with others. Then the next one is the trademark. Trademark, you already know that in trademark we use various logos or we use various signature mark that are used to be marked on the products, or that will able to distinguish one enterprise goods from the other. So these are the trademarks that we mark on the certain products of a certain company, so that they'll be able to distinguish all the goods or services from one company to the other. Trade secrets, they are the secret practices, you can say, or they are the secret designing or secret formulas that are possessed by a particular company. And these formulas or these processes that they give a company an economic advantage over its competitors, and any other company cannot use their formulas without their permissions. So the unauthorized use of such information by any other persons that are not the holder of the company or that are not belongs to that company is regarded as an unfair practice and a violation of the trade secrets. For example, there is a Coca-Cola company. It does not share its trade secrets or the formula of making the cold drink with any other companies without his permission. So the designing or the formula is basically the trade secret of that particular company. Now, the next topic we will describe in detail is the copyright, as we have already discussed in short in the intellectual property. Now, what is a copyright? It is a group of property rights that are granted to the creators of literacy, artistic, musical, dramatic, and audiovisual works. It gives the creators of these works the exclusive right to reproduce and distribute copies of their works. It prohibits copying someone else's work without his permission. That means all these literacy works or all these artistic works like making films or music composition or artistic or writing books or dramatic or audiovisual works, all these kinds of literacy or all these kinds of artistic work, they are protected by the copyright, and nobody else besides the owner can use this or can copy someone else's work without his or her permission. So all these copyrights, they give the creators the exclusive right so that they'll be able to remake For example, a person is making a film, so on the basis of that film he has got some exclusive right that he can make the series of that film also and distribute the copies of their work. So it is upon them, or it based on them, that whether they want to use it, or whether they want to distribute it, or whether they want to share it with anyone else. So therefore it also gives creators and authors the right to determine whether their work will be used as part of another work, including films, video programs and other audiovisual productions. That means it is the choice of the creator, or it is the choice of the author, that whether they want some part, or some, for example, some scenes of the film they can be reused in some another film as a short part. So it is the choice of the creator that whether he want to share it or not. Now there might occur some issues regarding the copyright in e-commerce. The first one is conflicts between services in e-commerce and traditional copyright. Then the second one is online bookstores and copyright. Then the third, copyright protection of database. And the fourth, current status of database production. Means these are the certain issues that might occur in terms of when we are doing some online business, because when we are creating some online website, so it is difficult to protect that website from its unauthorized use. Same is the case with the database. It is difficult to protect the something which is published on the website, or something which is published or which is available online. So it becomes difficult to protect all these things that are available online. So therefore there might be some issues that are occur in e-commerce, or you can say the online business. So students, these are the important questions that can be framed based on today's session. The first one is, explain why e-commerce security is required. In this you have to explain why the security, or why all the aspects of security should be considered when we are starting a e-commerce business. Then the second is, what is the difference between intellectual property and copyright? You have to explain the difference between intellectual property and copyright, and in what sense they are different, because copyright is one part of the intellectual property. So in this you have to explain how this copyright is a different part, or you can treat that as a different part of intellectual property. So students, it was all about today. We are ending our session here only. In today's session we have discussed about computer security and e-commerce security and various intellectual properties. Now in the next session we will continue with the security threats that might occur in the e-commerce business. Till then, you all take care of yourself and keep learning. Thank you so much for watching.